Morning again, and day 2 of my walk through a few of the Proverbs. In Proverbs 15 yesterday, we're obviously in Proverbs 16 today. And as I said yesterday, there's an awful lot in these, and I can't possibly do them justice in the few minutes that we have. But I'm picking out one or two that God sort of spoke to me on as I was reading, and I hope will speak to you as well. And the thing that I found interesting in this one, because in the previous chapter, it had mostly been talking about things like how we use our tongue to speak to people harshly or kindly and so forth. But what became interesting to me in this one was from verse 12 and down to verse 15. He refers to kings. Kings detest wrongdoing, for a throne is established through righteousness. Kings take pleasure in honest lips. They value the one who speaks what is right. A king's wrath is a messenger of death, but the wise will appease it. When a king's face brightens, it means life. His favour is like a rain cloud in spring. So just looking at those 4 verses, I was thinking about them, and the thought came to me that actually, if I just sort of reverse this slightly and think of not just earthly kings and the way in which we do things, but the King, indeed the King of Kings. That Jesus is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And when I want to think about how I should behave as one who loves the Lord but is very human, I get it wrong a lot, I do. But I can think about what pleases God in here. Because if we take this word kings and simply say God detests wrongdoing. I think we could work that one out for ourselves. For a throne is established through righteousness. We don't earn righteousness ourselves. Righteousness only comes from knowing Jesus. It's through the work that he has done, not anything that we do. Kings take pleasure in honest lips. Therefore, as a Christian, I am challenged to be honest in what I say and what I do. And God values the one who speaks what is right. And I would love to say, yeah, I'm always doing that. I always get it right, and I certainly don't. But I do recognise that the way that I behave it impacts the relationship that I have with God. A king's wrath, therefore God's wrath, God's anger, is a messenger of death, but the wise will appease it. You know, I love the old, bit of a cliche, I know, but you know, at Christmas time, you often see that little phrase which says, wise men sought Jesus, they still do. So wise men we know of that came to the birth of Jesus, or actually came after the birth of Jesus, but you know, it is true that if you're wise, you really will seek Jesus today. You will seek him because he is the only one by whom salvation can be found. And so I'm taking challenge from these verses and thinking about how God wants me to behave as a Christian, and not just as a label as a Christian, but as his child. I want to please my Father. He is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, but he's also my heavenly daddy, and I want to please him in the way I behave. I'm sure you do too. bless.